Cataclysms and inverted poles, historical artifacts testify to the catastrophes of the past, despite the fact that official historians, for the most part, call all those who doubt the veracity of the myths set forth in textbooks ignorant and incompetent. Few people know that there are many historical sources that contradict this very official version. Ancient Greek Herodotus of Heraclius, the father of history, retells his conversations with Egyptian priests during his visit to Egypt after Egypt became a kingdom. 4 times during this time, as I was told, the sun was rising contrary to its usual. Twice it rose where it now sits, and twice it sat where it now rises, which means that the earth was toppled over. Now, in addition to Herodotus, Roman geographer Pompeius Mela wrote the same thing. The Egyptians take pride in being the oldest people in the world. In their original chronicles, one can read that since the beginning of their existence, the course of the stars has changed its direction 4 times, and that the sun has set twice in that part of the sky where it now rises, he said. That is, everything changed 4 times. How can this be explained? The historical data of Egypt are unequivocal. Harris's magical papyrus tells about the cosmic displacement of fire and water, when the south became the north and the earth toppled and turned over. The Ipuwer papyrus states that the earth turned like a potter's wheel. In the papyrus of the Hermitage, there is also a mention of the catastrophe that turned the earth upside down. Let's be remembered that people did not know about the daily rotation of the earth and believed that the firmament with its luminaries rotates around the earth. Something happened that never happened. In ancient Egypt, there was even a name for the rising of the western sun. They called it Garukhuti. It rises in the west. In the Syrian city of Ugarit, Ras Shamra, a text was found dedicated to the goddess Anat, who destroyed the population of the Levant and reversed the 2 dawns and the movement of the stars. Plato wrote, "I mean the changes in the rising and setting of the sun and other celestial bodies, when in ancient times they usually set where they now rise and ascended where they now sit. At certain periods the universe has its present revolution, and at other periods it rotates in the opposite direction. All of the other changes that take place in the heavens, this reverse movement is the most significant and complete. At that time the destruction of all animals took place, and only a few of the people remained alive." This is what he wrote in The Politician. In other words, it was basically almost an extinction level event. What is the explanation for the universe rotating in the opposite direction? Plato is the only Greek who wrote about the reverse motion of the sun. There are many such Greek authors. In the historical drama Atreus by the Athenian playwright Sophocles, it's indicated that the sun rises in the east only since its movement has changed. Zeus changed the course of the sun, causing it to rise in the east instead of the west. The ancient Greek playwright Euripides wrote in Electra, "Then Zeus rose in his anger, turning the sun, the stars back on their fiery path, and even the dazzling burning chariot of the sun, and the foggy look of the cloudy morning. And the flash of his flying chariot lit up the face of the fading day with a scarlet light. The sun turned back, carrying the punishment of mortals with the whip of its anger." In another essay, Euripides writes, "And the winged chariot of the sun rushed back from a terrible strife, changing its path through the heavens to the west in the direction where the dawn was burning with a blush. The people, seized with fear, asked, 'Do we alone of all mankind deserve to have the sky with inverted poles frighten us? Has our last day really come?'" How can it be that the sky with inverted poles terrified people back then, prompting them to await for an end of days scenario? Among the American Indians, the sun, which moves to the east, hence in the direction opposite to the current one, even has a separate name. They called it Totlixo. The Mexican people symbolically liken the change in the direction of the solar movements to a celestial ball game, accompanied by collisions and earthquakes on the earth. Jewish historical data, Hai Gaon in his answers, mentions cosmic changes, as a result of which the sun rose in the west and set in the east. In the treatise Sanhedrin, which is part of the Talmud, it says, 7 days before the flood, the Holy One changed the original order, and the sun rose in the west and set in the east. Okay, so that was before the flood. The Arabic Quran tells us about the deity of 2 easts and 2 wests in Surah LV. Quote from the Quran, "The hour will not come until the sun rises in the west, and when it rises and people see it, they will all believe, but then a person will not be good in faith if he did not believe before, did not deserve good by doing righteous deeds by their faith." The Western Arab philosopher Averroes wrote about the eastern and western directions of the sun. In Russian chronicles dated back to the 13th and 14th centuries, though all of them are from later lists, there are reddening of the sky, earthquakes, forest fires, 2 months of darkness, unprecedented floods, and so on. In the Vologda Chronicle, it's written, "The sun died." Jesuit missionary Martinius wrote a book, History of China. According to ancient chronicles, leaving behind the brackets of falsification of Katai, China, but the book directly says about the displacement of the Earth's axis. The support of the sky collapsed. The Earth was shaken to its very foundation. The sky began to fall to the north. The sun, moon, and stars changed the path of their movement. The entire system of the universe came. The sun was in eclipse, and the planets changed their paths. What are all these sources talking about? Obviously about those very global catastrophes of the past, the presence of which is the official science completely ignores, telling us about the progressive development of civilizations from the most primitive cultures to the modern one. But if such catastrophes occurred in the past, it means that as a result of them, humanity has more than once been thrown into the Stone Age in its development. And consequently, in our past, those very highly developed civilizations could actually exist, the memory of which was preserved only in the mythology of various cultures. This is on Soul Ask. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box